17 states currently sanctioning women's flag football. You're going to see some incredible talent on the field today here in the shadows of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The Ravens and the Raiders. Calvert County, Maryland represented. And a team that's got all kinds of talent according to its head coach, Vincent Greenfield. They're young in nature. This is just year 2 of this organization, but they've already defeated several teams that have given them the L back in the day.
And I loved how he explained it. He said, I got a team full of athletes. They do gymnastics, they're in track and field, they're in volleyball. And that's the beautiful thing about flag football. It involves so many types of athletes, so many qualities to be a great flag football player. So you can be like a dual sport. And we're going to see how good those players are here.
The Apex Predators out of Henderson, Nevada, led by head coach Todd Thompson. They have been the runners-up in this event 3 consecutive years. Lead.
That is such a great read. Look at her. She's in the safety position, but she's looking at the quarterback, staying in the middle of the field and getting that ball. The Raiders were trying to be really aggressive to start the game, and I like that, but they're going to have to be careful with that type of errors. We know we have very little drives when it comes to flag football in this format.
Now, head coach Vincent Greenfield loves the athleticism for his team. The pass will be caught by Cheyenne Berger, and she'll step out of bounds after a positive gain. Second in midfield to go.
Yeah, and I like when teams start like this. You get a feel of what the other team is kind of playing. You're playing it safe, but you're gaining yards in the process. So it's a good start for the Ravens. Let's see if they keep it up or they're going to attack as well and be really aggressive on the next play.
Lucia Syracusano is the quarterback. Lofts one deep and the pass incomplete. Blanket coverage deep down the field by Mariah Stevens-Walden. And the pass intended for Mariah Greenfield, the daughter of head coach Vincent Greenfield.
Yeah, and we can see here Lucia Syracusano. Her favorite player is Josh Allen. And when you read that, you know she's a quarterback, right? She's looking at this guy and saying, what can I learn from him? And that's why it's so important, these players, to be also kind of involved within the NFL. There's so many things that we can learn from those NFL players that adapt perfectly to flag football.
Her dream is to work in the NFL one day. She'll receive the snap cleanly on third down, midfield to go. Another shot deep and incomplete. And Greenfield was open for a moment. And now decision time, and it appears the Ravens will punt, and that will put the ball at the 5-yard line. The second possession coming up for the Raiders.
Yeah, we were talking about if they were going to be aggressive. I think they were too aggressive in this sense, Roy. They needed to get a little bit closer to that line, that midfield line, but it's all or nothing for them.
Raiders get it back in the quick toss. Arguably the most talented player in this tournament, Jaylani Palmer, receives the completion from Akemi Higa.
Such an interesting player, Jaylani. We were talking to her coach and how she's just so dominant and how...
And sneaking in was Maya Summers.
This is great work by the rusher. You can see how she's going in full speed, but then she's slowing down a little bit, getting closer to the quarterback. You need to make sure you're ready to change directions, and that's exactly what she did. That's a great play.
Third down and goal to go, so this is the last opportunity to score a touchdown on this possession, barring a penalty. And a flag comes in. Our referee today, Emily Howard.
And these flags, man, they hurt because...
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty includes a loss of downs. Turnover on downs.
So a turnover on downs after the infraction and the loss of down included. And the Ravens will get it back. A running clock here in both halves here at the 2025 NFL Flag Championships. We are scoreless. The Ravens and the Raiders underway in Canton. And Roy, don't forget Gen Youth and the NFL Foundation have teamed up to bring NFL flag in school to over 40,000 schools nationwide, energizing physical education and empowering 17 million students through movement, teamwork, and play, with flag football making its Olympic debut in 2028. Momentum is building. Learn more at genyouthnow.org. The Ravens will get it back. Syracusano, the quarterback. And she'll survey, fire another one deep. Greenfield was open, had a step. And it'll be second in midfield to go. The rules, Rebecca, of course, we always like to remind our viewers exactly how NFL flag works. Quarterback's got 7 seconds to throw the ball. All of those passes have to go beyond the line of scrimmage. No laterals, pitches, or screen passes beyond there. Direct handoffs, pitches, and laterals are allowed. Amongst some of the other changes this year, the pass is incomplete, and just like that, it's third in midfield.
And that's why the first play is super important, because then after that you have to divide the distance that you have to gain within the plays that you have. So if you started having to gain 7 yards per play after that really deep incomplete pass, then you have to gain double, right? So it gets a little bit harder, and that's why it's also okay to start safe with an out, with an in, with stop in the middle, just to get those gains and start building up your offensive drive.
There's 6 minutes remaining. Fast moving first half. Syracusano, the handoff, and on the end around, Maya Summers will put the Ravens in position. Let's see what the decision is. I believe they're going to elect to punt. Summers had a crease for a moment, Rebecca.
Yes, but it was too far. I wish they would have looked for a pass a little bit more aggressive. I think they have to either find a balance, right? Not as toned down as the last play and not as aggressive as the first one.
Kimmy Higa back in at quarterback. Her twin sister also a part of this roster. Dumps it off to Jaylani Palmer. The Raiders have been a little bit more consistent offensively up to this point, but nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
And on the move again, Rebecca.
Can you imagine the conversations in that household? It must be all flag football, right? They must talk flag football all day.
The Higa twins and a Kimmy. Short completion. Kaylee Phillips. And a first down crossing midfield. It'll be first and goal from there.
We must talk about them, right? Because they're part of the youth national flag football team for the USA. They were both born in Hawaii, moved to Las Vegas, inspiring so many people through what they do.
And they're doing it on national television as we speak.
Of course they are.
Under center, the quick handoff, and Phillips can throw it. She'll step out of bounds. So third down and goal to go, and the Raiders have to score here or they'll turn it over.
Look at her. She has great moves. So she's pumping and faking, but look at that balance, staying out of that line, and then doing the hip and the dip. That's just amazing.
Summers with the pressure. Third down and goal. It comes down to this and towards the front pylon. It is broken up in the last minute by Amani Welch. And Amani Welch, the PBU, gives it back to the Ravens.
That has been a couple of plays from Amani that are great. You can see her footwork, how she's keeping in her vision the quarterback, but also the receiver that's assigned to her. Great, great work.
And head coach Vincent Greenfield has to be pleased there. And there's Coach Greenfield. He talked with us about how this team came together, and it really just happened in the last 2 years.
Is from the Ravens, because they were being too aggressive, and now they're like in between. They're finding that soft spot in the middle. The Raiders are playing like a box, and that means that you have 2 players on each side of the defense, and the middle is basically free.
And how about Monty Welch and what she's done here just in the last 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Pass deflection.
Whoa.
On third down and goal, and now back-to-back completions to number 1 in purple. And a penalty marker on the field as well.
Which makes total sense. So there's a responsibility from the offense to move around the defense, right? But then the defense has also...
Defense. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the run. Automatic first down.
Responsibility to not make that contact. Right now, she was grabbing her short, which is part of also the contact that I personally saw. And sometimes I was talking to you about this yesterday, about how contact sometimes in flag football is so subjective. It's kind of based on judgment. Sometimes you will see for like a little push, a flag thrown, and then something like this where it wasn't really the penalty, the contact, but more the holding from the defense.
Well, first down, goal to go, and a little confusion on the handoff.
Yeah.
Between Syracusano, and that time it was Maya Summers. So it'll be second down and goal to go there.
And that's something that you need to practice, to make that box, make sure you're in great communication with your quarterback. The quarterback needs to know when is the last moment you can let that ball go. It counts as an incomplete pass. So basically right there where the play started.
Well, Rebecca, you see time winding down in this first half. Both teams with their full complement of timeouts to work with. Across the middle and incomplete. And Mariah Greenfield unable to turn around, crossing the goal line to see where that pass was going from Syracusano.
And a lot of people that are watching for the first time would think, okay, it's an incomplete pass, right? There was a lack of communication. I'm not sure if it was with Amani or with Mariah. But there's a lack of communication. The clock does not stop in flag football, even if it's an incomplete pass. But it has stopped now because they're going to ask for a timeout.
So time management in NFL flag is critical.
Yes.
By allowing the clock to race down to 2 seconds on 3rd and goal, this should be the final play of the first half, barring a penalty. But the thought process there is you don't give the opposition a chance to heave one to the end zone and try to score with no time left and get all the momentum shortly before halftime.
Exactly. We can change microphones and headsets.
You want to do play-by-play?
Yeah,
I'll be the analyst.
Be the analyst now. Great job.
Years of experience there.
Nothing else to add. You explained it perfectly.
It'll be the only time that happens this weekend. Head coach Todd Thompson leading Apex, representing the Raiders out of Henderson, Nevada. His team has come so close to winning the championship each of the last 3 years, and a roster that's turned over. They have brought in some of the top junior national team members this year. On 3rd down and goal, Syracusano pass is deflected and tossed down by Cheyenne Berger. And it was Kaylee Phillips, actually, that got a hand on it at the last minute. The Raiders and the Ravens are scoreless. 1 half here in the books.
I loved what the defense did. So they were attacking with two rushers. You could see their hands up, and the rest of the defense was playing preventive football.
Head coach Vincent Greenfield joins us, the head coach of the Ravens. Coach, scoreless first half. What did you see in those first 12 minutes?
Defense played great. Defense is actually what got us here. We got to move the ball more. Missed a couple of shots that I think we could have scored on. But right now, I like where we at. So still a 0-0 game. We right where we need to be.
What are some of the adjustments, Coach, that you're going to try to adapt for the second half?
Connect on some of the home runs that we missed on. They starting to back their coverage up. So if they can continue to back up, we'll check the ball down and just let our athletes be athletes, get them the ball and let them catch and run.
Coach, great start for your team. Best of luck in the second half.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Vincent Greenfield, this upstart program, Calvert County, Maryland. Flag Championships, scoreless game in the round of 16. Pull play first time, and you look at the countries represented here in Canton this year, from Australia to Puerto Rico, Mexico, Great Britain, Germany, China, Canada, and Brazil. Rebecca Landa, Roy Philpott. And Rebecca, you know a thing or two about playing the international sport that is NFL flag football. 7-time member of the Mexican national team.
Yes.
You won the gold medal at the 2022 World Games. I know that was an incredible experience. What was it like?
Amazing, unbelievable. I was crying most of the time when we got that gold medal. You know, when you think back to when we started playing flag football, tournaments like this didn't exist at all, Roy. We couldn't even imagine something like this, let alone like LA 2028. So then you're playing a final against the US in a big stadium, your family's there, everybody's watching, you're in NFL Network, at ESPN, and that's just crazy to imagine when you've been doing this for so long, right? So just thinking back when we got that medal around our heads, I could just think of all the people that were part of that story and of all my teammates, right? Because we all have our own story, our own process, and it was just amazing. Look at that beauty.
The gold medal and the kiss after winning the title just 3 short years ago, and you mentioned the excitement of Los Angeles and 2028, now in the Olympics.
Yes.
And that is one of the reasons, one of many reasons we've seen the explosion of NFL flag football with all of the players participating here in this event this weekend. It's been tremendous to watch.
It's been tremendous, and it's such a big motivation for some of them, right? So now you have like this specific goal that you're working towards. It's also, you're working towards going to the Olympics, but as well getting a scholarship at a university, at a college. Those were things that we didn't have when we were growing up. So you can see how the sport has been growing, and of course the NFL is a big advocate, but also universities are big advocates, high school teams and high schools around the country. And I can talk about Mexico. There was a big explosion as well when we won that gold medal, but of course even more so when the LA 2020 Olympics were announced.
Only 3 short years away. Second half coming up. We are scoreless in the round of 16 with the Ravens and the Raiders from Henderson, Nevada, Calvert County, Maryland. Second half up next. All Hall of Fame scoreless. Ravens and Raiders in the start of our second half. Rebecca Londo, Roy Philpott. And energy and excitement level at an all-time high. Ravens will get the football first, starting deep in their own territory. Lucia Syracusano stays in at quarterback. 7 seconds. Get rid of that pass, and it's incomplete at the feet of Berger.
Yeah, and she was under pressure because she was inside that touchdown, and we must remind you that the rusher is coming in full speed. If she gets that flag within the touchdown,
It's a
of course,
safety.
it's a safety. That would break our scoreless game.
Yes, it would. Trishelle Touquet applying the pressure that time on Syracusano.
One of the differences that we see from this year and last year is that now the rusher has to announce itself. So you will see the rushers putting their hand up, which is something that we didn't see last year.
Been a mainstay on both sides of the ball so far for head coach Vincent Greenfield with another grab.
Yeah, she's a playmaker. And we're going to see the rusher with the hand up. That's the way she announces herself. It needs to be above the head. And it was interesting how they were playing defense, because on the right side of the field, they were playing man. And on the left side of the field, they were playing zones. Really interesting, the approach.
Third down at midfield to go after a gain of 8 by Welch. And so a big play here. 2 downs to pick up the midfield stripe. Welch has been mainstay, as we mentioned, the Ravens offensively. Syracusano, the crosser, grabbed by Mariah Greenfield. She'll twist and turn. It'll be 4th in midfield. Now let's see if the Ravens want to punt it. I believe they will. And so now the Raiders will get it at their own 5.
We were asking ourselves before this half if Greenfield was going to be a little bit more safe on the attack, right? He was sending deep throws all the way through the first half. It did an easy ball.
Higa to Palmer again. So after a gain of 28, it'll be 2nd and goal in this scoreless slugfest between these two teams. Hope to win a championship here in Canton.
Yeah, they've been runners up for the last 3 years. 3 of those players have experienced that situation. The rest of the team is basically new in this level of play.
Head coach Todd Thompson, Rudy Fernandez, associate coach. Higa off the pump fake, got rid of it just in time, and the pass is caught. It'll be 3rd and goal, and a late penalty marker comes out. Touquet grabbed the reception. We'll check the infraction. It appears to be
illegal contact on the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Includes an automatic first down.
How big is that to get the automatic first down where it was coming down to 3rd and goal?
Yeah, that is just hard. So first of all, here, that was a very close call on the sack. And then, of course, the contact that we see. Like I said, sometimes it has to do with the judgment of the official. But that's painful because they had basically stopped the Raiders, and now they have 3 opportunities for basically 2 yards.
Well, Palmer with gains of 28 and 10 yards on this drive. It'll be first now in the driver's seat. A 1-point conversion attempt coming. It's 13-6.
I love this play. I love when they get out of the rule book, you would say, or like the basic way to play flag football, and kind of suggest something different from what the obvious decision would be, right? That's what makes great teams great, where you're not expecting what they're going to do, and they surprise you. They didn't just surprise the Ravens. They definitely surprised me.
8 touchdowns last year in bracket play in 2024 for Jaylani Palmer. And now the conversion attempt. This will be for 1 point in a 1-possession game. Calvert County, Maryland now down to that final timeout representing the Ravens.
This is such an important stop. Like, you need to get this stop if you're on the defense. You got 126. You could still be back in the game if you make the stop.
Go for 1 from the 5. You can go for 2 from the 10.
That is the play they needed. They are still in this game. You can see her back here, how her eyes are always forward, but she has like this vision, wide vision, where she's seeing also the receivers in front of her.
Imani Welch also plays a lot of basketball. You can see her climb the ladder to grab the football at its highest point. The pass intended near side is incomplete and a timeout call.
Yeah, and that's the right call. They really need to make sure they're very clear on what they're going to do in the next couple of plays. Because if the next play is not a touchdown, they need to make sure they're lined up really fast to get that next play on its way.
You got to check down here.
We're not just talking about the next play right now.
Hey, if we throw incomplete pass, I gotta get the ball and hurry up and get back set. Hey, Monty and Lucia. Lucia, I need a good stop and go here. I need a good stop and go here.
The stop and go to Monty Welch has been everywhere. Let's see the quick hezzy off the line of scrimmage, and if that pays dividends deep down the field. There have been moments Ravens have had players open, including Mariah Greenfield. Syracusano underneath this time, and the pass deflected. Looking for Ayanna Greenfield. The clock continues to spin.
Yeah, they need to move fast right now.
3rd and mid. Got to get to midfield to get the first down, and you see the defense plays back Rebecca. That pass behind the line of scrimmage, you can still throw it, and incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Well, the Ravens holding on at the thinnest of threads at this moment, and out of timeouts.
They need a miracle.
13-6 the final. Vincent Greenfield's team